ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की तारे गौर प्रणंदे और गोविष्ट assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be discussing the 5th canto, 15th chapter, 4th shloka. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam Udirya. Tato Jayam Udirya. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So this shloka is just one line. You all can see it clearly. Readable. So it doesn't have a meter. We'll just try to read it. Ya Atma Vidyam Akhyaya. स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुस्मारा यह आत्मा विद्याम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसस्मार यह आत्मा विद्याम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसस्मार Anybody like to repeat that?
या आत्मा विद्याम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसस्मार या आत्मा विद्याम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसंसारा
या आत्मा विद्यम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसस्मारा
या आत्मा विद्याम आख्याया स्वयं संशुद्धो महापुरुषम अनुसस्मारा
Word by word meaning. Yaha, who, king, pratiha. Atma vidyam akhyaya. After instructing many people about self-realization. Swayam, personally. Samshuddha, being very advanced and purified in self-realization. Mahapurusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Anusasmar, perfectly understood and always remembered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Pratiha personally propagated the principles of self-realization. In this way, not only was he purified, but he became a great devotee of the Supreme Person, Lord Vishnu, and directly realized him. The word Anusasmara is very significant. God consciousness is not imaginary or concocted. The devotee who is pure and advanced realizes God as he is. Maharaj Pratiha did so, and due to his direct realization of Lord Vishnu, he propagated self-realization and became a preacher. A real preacher cannot be bogus. He must first of all realize Lord Vishnu as he is. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Updakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. One who has seen the truth can impart knowledge. The word tattva darshi refers to one who has perfectly realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person can become a guru and propound Vaishnava philosophy all over the world. The paragon of bona fide preachers and guru is King Pratiha. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaryam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prapadakamala Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raduna Antam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुर्भवतु च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी विचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशाचारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यनाथेश्वरम्। हरे कृष्ण। The presentation attempted all right, before we talk about this, so today's verse so it talks about this chapter is descendants of King Priyavata. So mostly in this chapter, if you see, it talks about Priyavata, then his son, then his son, like that, the dynasty. So mostly the names are mentioned. So similar to like Bhagavad Gita first chapter, where the armies are described. So both sides, the warriors are described. So a lot of names are taken. So sometimes we think that, what's there in just knowing the names? Let's just move forward right to content. What's the core? Do you think like that? Why are the names mentioned? This whole chapter, you see, is about the dynasty. So what do we understand?
Succession actually, disciplic succession actually.
Yeah. Very nice. Disciplic succession. Authenticity. Very nice. Parampara. Guru Parampara.
When the authenticity is checked, always his father and mother's names are mentioned.
Ah.
So that's really
Right. Very nice. So we know who the personality is and authority. It should be in the parampara. So very nice. It also means it also means that these characters are real, right? They're not any imaginary names. Not that the author, just wrote down some names in order to fill up the book or pages or whatever. So these are real characters and part of the Guru Parampara. So tracing back all the way up to the source of Krishna, right? So that way we know the authenticity. Compared to so now these personalities who we talk about, they are like heroes. So we study their behavior and look up to them as example, and we derive values from their acharan. So now heroes, so these are real heroes, compared to what we see in the world, like how we've been growing up, other than the Vedic literature on TV, stories, school. There also we see a lot of heroes, like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. So many heroes are there. Do we see any ancestry of those characters? So this, in a way, tells us the authenticity. Like I remember when kids growing up, Superman, was a very favorite character, and he was like, at most they will tell that his father is from some other planet. He's come from some Krypton or something. So okay, not somebody from here, some superpowers. But then, what before him? Nobody knows. There is no definition. But here we see in our scriptures that all of the lineage is described, and each of these characters' greatness is described. How they learn from their ancestors and exhibit the behavior. So these were all saintly kings, glorious, Raja Rishi, as we call them, and they led the praja very nicely. Inculcated the values of Krishna consciousness, which we don't see nowadays a lot. So that's where the knowledge imparting of the knowledge is very important. So now this verse, if you see in the purport also, Prabhupada says the focus of this verse is Anusasmara. And so such a person is conscious of the Supreme Being. He is remembering all the time, and he is remembered. So in Bhagavad Gita we see Krishna tells Arjun, Tasmat sarvesha kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. So all the time, while doing your duties, remember me. So when one remembers the Supreme all the time, then what happens? So King Pratiha is the example. Here it's not Tasmat sarvesha kaleshu mam anusmara. Here anusasmara means one who has remembered. So one who has remembered, then he achieves this state. And what is that state? Become self-realized. And then what does such a person do? Preaches. So, like Prabhupada is saying this word, Tattva Darshina. So such a person has seen the Supreme. He's experienced, and then he goes about preaching. So King Pratiha is a paragon, an example of a bona fide guru. So now that's the kind of the message that we are going to discuss today about preaching. So before that, now we see that King Pratiha propagated self-realization. So what is self-realization?
Understand, like we are soul, not body, and we are part and parcel of Krishna.
Very nice.
Understanding the relationship, true relationship with Krishna.
Who is that? Oh, understanding the true relationship with Krishna. Very nice. Yeah. So that's the self-realization. So when we realize that we are part and parcel of Krishna, like you said, then we become Krishna conscious. Right? So that's self-realization, that we are not this body, we are the soul, and we are part of the Supreme. So then what is our relationship? How should we act? Right? So that's self-realization. Now, so what is the main goal of Krishna consciousness? So by this process, what has happened?
God consciousness is
Always remember Krishna and make him at the center while we are performing any of our duties, be it material or spiritual.
Right.
Go
Very nice.
back to Godhead and take as many as with you we can.
Oh, Jai. Very nice. So when this realization dawns upon us, then what happens? What state do we move from? Mode of ignorance. We go beyond that, right? So that's darkness, which means lack of knowledge. So the knowledge is the absolute knowledge, that I am this soul. So when we don't have that knowledge, we are in ignorance. Now that we've obtained that knowledge, we move out of darkness. We move towards the light. So His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, very nicely he gave an example. So like a person who is in ignorance, which means that he is away from the light, away from the source of light, which is sun. Right? So when one stands facing away from the sun, then what happens? You see a shadow in front of you, right? So now one sees the shadow, but is that shadow the person? No. And one cannot understand also, no, oneself by seeing the shadow. So how does one know one own self? How does one see oneself? By looking into a mirror, right? Otherwise we can't even see ourselves. So who shows us the mirror? That personality is Guru. Guru shows us the mirror. So when we see ourselves in the mirror, then what happens? We get to know ourselves. The truth is revealed. And then the person turns towards the sun. So now turning away from the shadow, from the darkness towards the light. So when we look at the light, then now is it that the shadow is gone? Shadow is still there. But do we see the shadow? It's behind us. Right? But others might see the shadow. Does that matter? To that person, maybe no. But like Prabhuji was saying that one would want to spread this knowledge and take everybody home. So from that perspective, it does matter. Right? Because one wants everybody to see the real light, not the shadow. So the shadow is like the body. And the light, when we are seeing ourselves, we are self-realized. So that's such a good example to understand how we become self-realized and turn towards the light. Okay. Then so now that we become excuse me, we become self-realized, then what? That goal of life is accomplished. Now we can go home. Now our work is done, we can go home, relax, watch TV.
So that's the foundation from where we start. Being in Atma, actually, we sort of it's always sakriya actually. So it has to always work. It has to work whether we serve Maya versus Krishna. So it's always like, so we have to always serve. So that's the purpose of life, to go to Godhead and God, and then again like serve only, because we cannot remain
Inactive, idle. Very nice. So service is eternal. It's our nature to serve. And so realization happens, so we serve even more nicely. And we serve the real master. Otherwise we are serving our own self. Very nice. So like, example of this is Prahlad Maharaj, when he is giving this knowledge to his school friends, who are all sons of demons. So he tells them, after giving the knowledge, what should you do? So he says, Tasmat Sarveshu Bhuteshu Dayam Kuruta Sauhridam. So now that you got this knowledge, what should you do? Have daya and be friendly with everybody. And in what mood should you do that? Bhavam Asuram Anmuchya. So the attitude of the demoniac tendencies that we have, get rid of that, because now you're self-realized. And by that what will happen? Yaya Adhokshaja. So the Supreme Lord, he will become Yaya Tushyati Adhokshaja. He will become happy. He will become pleased. And that's the goal of life, right? To please the Supreme. So when we get the knowledge, then our material propensities, they go away. And then what should we do? We should, like Prabhuji was mentioning, be compassionate, be friendly to all the living entities. Tasma Sarveshu Bhuteshu, all the living entities. And then share that knowledge with them. So that should be the next step after self-realization. So like I said, now preaching is the essence. Prabhupada said, preaching is the essence, and purity is the force. So when we are self-realized, when we practice Krishna consciousness, then we move towards purity, and then with that force, we carry out preaching. So what is preaching? What do you all think? What is preaching actually? We're talking about preaching, we will preach, but what is preaching?
Spreading the Krishna concept.
Okay, spreading Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu, can you be louder?
Giving knowledge to others, what we got from our Guru. The
Okay.
same way what we got.
Passing on the knowledge. Yes.
Bringing somebody from the mode of ignorance to the state of realization which the person preacher has realized. So preaching is nothing but the preacher will go to the extent the student is, so that he can understand him better and explain him better in his language,
Very
and
nice.
slowly bring him towards the state where the preacher is.
Wonderful.
Babuji, preaching is all about making the person self-discover actually. So Atma Sakshatkar basically. So that the person realizes that person is a soul rather than a body,
Right.
bringing him closer to.
It's all about wonderful.
Preaching is about speaking like a parrot, as it is coming from Guru and not adulterated anything else.
Wonderful.
Preaching is for connecting a soul to Krishna, bringing a soul closer to Krishna.
You all are wonderful preachers already. This is just for my purification. Yes, Martin.
Preaching is also like to make others remember what is our relationship with Krishna, how it is forgotten, and something like to re-establish our relationship.
Right. Very nice. So all of you have given wonderful answers. So yeah, when one experiences the love of God, that's the highest goal. Then we would want to share that with others. We want to give Krishna to others, make others also Krishna conscious. Prabhuji said one wonderful point at the last that the preacher comes down at the level of the student. So Uttam Adhikari, he will become Madhya Adhikari to preach. Otherwise, Uttam Adhikari, he sees everybody equal. For him, like this one wonderful example of Gaurkishore Babaji, he would chant all the time. And if he sees that there are people who are doing all sorts of other things, he will not think that they are not being Krishna conscious, they are bad, or I should preach to them. He's like, they are so advanced that even in they don't even have to take the name of Krishna. Even while partying, going to places, bad places, they are still remembering Krishna. I am so fallen that I have to chant so many rounds every day to remember Krishna. That's how an Uttam Adhikari will think. So in that mood, they cannot preach. So they have to come one level down, Madhyam Adhikari, and then preach, and then elevate the student. Wonderful point, Prabhu. So now we have to give the love of God, right? So now, is love of God, like from the context what we're seeing, King Patiya self-realized, and Guru, Tattva-darshina, they experience. But is love of God something that we can just take and give it to the recipient and make them Krishna conscious? How do we do that preaching? Now we have to give love of God. How do we give that love?
You have to show the way, they have to follow it, them to experience.
It's like a gulab jamun, you cannot say just gulab, you have to taste that. So you get that bhava, rasa.
Right.
has to be realized, structured manner.
Very nice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya. The love of God is there in each and every living being. It's not that by preaching we are going to give them love of God. It's there. Everybody has it already. It's just that we are not aware. It's over so many of lifetimes. We've covered with our own pleasures on top of it as dust, and we don't know. So, how does that get uncovered? Yeah, by hearing. Shravana adi shuddha chitte, karya udaya. So by hearing and chanting, it arises the love of God. So it's Prabhupada, one wonderful talk that is, it automatically springs up. So we need to just arouse that feeling in others. It's nothing that we are giving them. We have to just invoke those feelings. And how would we invoke those feelings? By giving Krishna to them. By sharing the holy name. The holy name has the power to invoke those feelings. We don't have any power. It's not like I am giving something and made him a devotee. It's all Krishna's plan. However capable I might be, we are just nimit matra. Krishna tells to Arjuna, right? He's such a great warrior, but he tells him that don't worry, everything is already taken care of. Everybody is dead. You just have to carry on your duty. O Sabya Sachi, Nimmit Matra. He is such a great personality, but even he has to just become an instrument. After the war, when Krishna is leaving, we see when he was coming back, he couldn't even fight simple people. So on our own, we don't have any capability. It's only by Lord's mercy. So he has his plan. We have to just become instruments. So now, okay, we have to preach. So we know what is preaching. We have to give love of God, and we have to share the holy name. But to whom should we give? We have to identify to whom we should give. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter 67th verse. Yaidam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva abhidhashyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mam evashyati asamshaya. For one who, you want to read this? Yeah?
Translation. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me.
Right. So, preaching, it should be done to devotees. One who has faith in Krishna, one who understands that there is a supreme being. We are part and parcel. To such person, one should preach. Share about the glories of the Lord. Share his pastimes, his leelas. And by doing so, what happens? Krishna says, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So, so this is for devotees. Krishna advises that you should preach to the faithful. Whom should we not preach? So Krishna tells him in this chapter also, but we've taken one third chapter as well. Prakritir guna samudha sajante guna karmashu tan krishna vidho madan krishna vinna vichalya. Anybody wants to read translation?
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
So Krishna is giving an advice that you should not, disturb the people who are not self-realized. Why? Because they are in the consciousness of ignorance, and they're in the bodily platform. They're attached to the body. They don't understand that we are the soul, and because of that, they cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness. So to such people, if we preach, we give the holy name, we talk philosophy to them, they will not understand. For them, doing all the duties related to the body, that is good enough. Any samskaras, rituals related to the body, keeping happiness in the material world, they'll be limited till there. Beyond that, no. So to such person, we should not preach, we should not disturb such people. That is what Krishna is saying. And the next sloka. Idam te na paskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrusave vachyam na cha mamyo vyashruyati.
This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me.
So, it should not be explained to people who are envious of him. So that again comes, so if you see, Krishna is exercising the free will here. Right? When one wants to be away from Krishna, then if the knowledge of Krishna is given, then that whole purpose of being away is triggered even more. One wants to, when one hears the glory of Krishna, one will think, oh, he is more powerful, the most powerful. How can somebody be like that? I am powerful, I am trying to be powerful, I am the master. So one then develops envy. And when one develops envy, one will further go away from the Supreme. Right? So Krishna doesn't want that. And because we wanted to be away, okay, you be there, you try to enjoy in your understanding, and as you will progress, you will gradually come to me. But I will not force anything upon you. And likewise, he is advising to devotees also that you should not preach to such people. Don't force. Love is not by force, right? It comes automatically. So, but what does that mean now? So again, okay, work done. Sunday morning, come here, Bhagavatam Katha we attend. That's it, go home, sit, aram se relax, watch TV, play, whatever. Because outside people are envious, they are attached to their bodily things. So Krishna is saying we should not preach to them. So is that what should we do? Do we see devotees do like that? In fact, we see devotees are so fired up, enthusiastic. They'll be on the streets, doing kirtan, book distribution, food for life. So how do we relate that here? Krishna is saying you should not do that. So are we doing something wrong?
Because Vaishnavas or the devotees are very, they have a lot of compassion for the souls which are, they always try to look for that simple ignition actually. They are just trying to preach and leave next to God.
Very nice.
We have a different set of interpretation. It's like in a heap of sand.
Uh-huh.
The preacher is a magnet who pulls himself throughout. Whichever has that quality will automatically get stick to it.
Okay.
And then the preacher's job is to convert that grain of iron to a liquid. That's really normal.
Very nice. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I think being a Vaishnava, to imbibe and practice it, around all the people, ignorant people also. So whoever a tendency, you try to create curiosity. They can get attracted and then we can do engage. When they come to us, then we can engage.
Okay. Very nice.
So customers are normally kind, so they give the blessing, but Lord himself says like there are four kinds of people who want to come. So we have to identify who are the four kinds of persons.
Very nice.
People like give them a blessing and then so that they can come and then bring the blessing.
Wonderful. We can use our intelligence given by Krishna to identify who all are those and bring them. Very nice. Yes.
Faith is covered by ignorance. Cover the faith, so we can reach out.
Wonderful. Yes, Mati. What she's saying?
What Madam is telling is, we can give them Sukrute by
Mm.
giving them
Prasad.
Kirtan.
Yes. The magic formula. Prabhupada started with Kirtan and Prasadam. Right.
Actually, people are very much ignorant of their relationship with Krishna. To make them remember, devotees have to perform all these activities, and those who remember their relationship with Krishna, they will get attracted, and soon they will be becoming the devotee, or they will come into the process of becoming.
Right. So very nice. All of you gave very nice answers. So now, like, Krishna is advising not to disturb such people, but devotees still go and do that. So one, like, we identify who all are those. But are we contradicting here? Krishna says don't do it, but still we are doing it. Are we like being disobedient children?
More merciful. Devotees are more merciful.
Devotees are more merciful.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually he was also giving it to everyone.
Very nice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incarnates as a devotee, in the mood of Radharani. So what does he say? The desire, what's the desire of the Lord we see from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna as the Supreme Person, he tells what you should do. Rules and regulations. Bhagavad Gita is the manual of life. How we should live our life. He lays down those steps. But what are his inner desires? What does he really want us to do? That we see from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. So, our parampara also, we are Rupanugas. And Rupa Goswami, we recite this one. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutam. So he understood what the Lord wants and establishing that. That's the idea. So what is the desire of the Lord? Prithvite acheyaka nagarati grama sarvatra prachara eke mola nama.
In every town and village, the chanting of my name will be heard.
So that's the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the holy name should be spread across the whole world, every town and village. So if that is his desire, then one has to go out and preach, right? And now use the intelligence. Whom should we approach, whom should we not? But holy name has to be given freely. So preaching is giving the holy name. And like Prabhuji was saying, use our intelligence to identify who are those who are faithful. The first sloka, who are devotees, who are having faith, preach to them. And then take it forward. Now so now we understood what is preaching, whom should we preach, whom should we look to avoid. Now, who can go out and preach? So that we see again from Chaitanya Charitamrita, these two shlokas. We'll just read the translation. Anybody? First one.
One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other.
And the next one.
In the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence and words.
So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that an Indian, it is his by birth responsibility. So, who is eligible? All Indians. Is it only all Indians? Now, first if we see, where did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear? In Navadvip. Bengal. He could have said all Bengalis. He said all Indians. No, so he was magnanimous. Not only Bengal. All Indians. This whole land is very pious. All of the Indians, they, by birth, by our culture, we know the basic truth that we are the soul, we are not this body. What are the right things, dharma. We in principle everybody knows. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that all of the Indians should spread this holy name. So this is responsibility not only to Bengal but to India, to all the Indians. And is it like only for Indians? Are only Indians preaching? When the preaching, when it started, ISKCON, when it became ISKCON what it is, were Indians preaching at that time?
No.
Who was preaching? Westerners, Americans. And I should not get there. But so it is not like only one set of people. All the living entities should be preaching. So the next verse is that it's the duty of every living being. So one gets self-realized and shares with compassion to everybody. So now being an Indian, it's an advantage. We get a head start. So like in tournaments, World Cup, football, once in 4 years, there will be qualifiers. So some teams, like Argentina is the world champion, does it need to play in the qualifiers? No. India? For preaching, no. But for such skills, yeah. Material things, India would have to, participate in the qualifying rounds to be eligible to get into the main draw and then play in the tournament. But whoever is expert in that field doesn't need to go through the qualifiers. They are directly qualified. So same way, Indians have that privilege. This culture is there in this Bharatvarsh. So we all already possess that. Now we have to take it forward. So that way it is our prime responsibility. And we see Prabhupada in fact tried to go preaching in this way from India, but that time we were not, the conditioning was so much, nobody understood. But the Western words, where in our scripture we consider them as Malechas, they took it so seriously and understood. They were in such a state of life that they were looking for something higher, couldn't find it. Prabhupada gave it to them, and they gave their life to Prabhupada. And when they came back to India, they're like, what is this now? These people will preach us white elephants. But then when people started realizing, now we're seeing how ISKCON is spreading. ISKCON Whitefield itself, with the great leadership of Kishore Prabhuji, Harishitra Prabhuji, Sudhir Gopal Prabhu, all the youth devotees, Mataji's preaching, so nice preaching is happening. Started with one humble center here. Now we're doing Janmashtami at about 8-9 places. This Janmashtami that happens here, it's like amazing. Night 12 o'clock, if you see that video, it's like it's in a stadium or something. So wonderful. So duty of every living entity. So now, okay, it's a duty of all of us. So now, what's the qualification of such a person? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he tells, यारे देखा तारे कहा कृष्णा उपदेशा आमारा आज्ञा गुरु हया तारा ही देशा. So, can you read that?
Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Shri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land.
Well, so one who preaches, and preaches what? What do we need to preach? The message as given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, like Prabhuji was mentioning. It should not be adulterated message. Whatever we've heard, we have to just repeat. That's all. So when we do that, then we are eligible to become a spiritual master. So, I mean, we all understand the qualifications of being a guru. I mean, everybody now here is preaching, but are we all gurus? So guru is one who has Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, right? All the senses in control. Such a person is eligible to make disciples all the world. So that's the definition of guru. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that you go on that path, repeat whatever is there in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and be eligible to become a guru. The point is you need to spread the message of the Lord. And a person who achieves success in this, by controlling his senses and by being an example, is a guru. So Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that who is a guru? One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all demigods. So where powers are at? So Guru is a representative of Krishna. नहीं यार.
Why lose it?
Hare Krishna. So Guru is representative of the Supreme, right? And because his senses are controlled, he himself does not, gratify his senses. He is sharing the message of the God, sharing the love of God, and he's acting like a parent. So a parent, how it takes care of the child, to make sure that the child is on the right path. So like that, Guru is caring for his disciples. So he is an Acharya, living by example. And Prabhupada says that, I read somewhere, that like how we have these radios, different channels, we sit in the car and we tune, so all this music and whatnot is played. So Guru is also like a radio, and he transmits what?
God's message.
God's message. From where? Where is the radio station? Yeah, but where are the signals coming from? Goloka. Golokera Premadhana. So the holy name is coming from spiritual world through Guru and is being transmitted to everybody. That's what Guru does. So that's so wonderful. So we should tune to the radio of Guru instead of 93.5 or whatever. Okay. So now Guru is the one who is self-realized. who is having all his senses in control. He's seen the Supreme, and now he is transmitting the message of Lord and he's preaching. But what about us? Like I said, are we all gurus?
Shishya.
Huh?
Shishya.
Shishya. Some of us like me are not even Shishya, trying to be.
At least I am Kanishka Vikari.
Kanishka Vikari. Very nice. Humility. So if we know, okay, we need to preach, what we need to preach, what are the eligibilities, whom we should not, but then who has to preach? Oh, that person has to be of some high standard. Such a person is called Guru. But I don't possess those kind of qualities. So then, again back to the same thing. Should I just go home? I am not qualified to preach.
You can take example from Dattatreya. He saw a girl, he made him a guru. He was not a Vacho Begam, Manasakroda Begam, Jiva Begam, Dharmastha Begam.
Right.
But he learned from him. He learned from a prostitute.
Okay.
He learned from so many things. So, I don't know what I
Yeah, no. Very nice. Anybody else?
Being a devotee, you can, whatever the gurus gives a message, right, we can try to adopt and follow. By that, we can inspire others. We don't need to do anything explicitly. If you do sincere to yourself, that will itself is right.
Wonderful.
And also in Sanskrit, it says, Sahana bhavatu sahano bhudatu sahabhigam sarvam. So we together grow. So if I consider myself as a self-realized Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atmana Sochati Madanshati,
Okay.
then I will never be able to preach. So I should come to a platform, always be humble and let other things, let's go and learn together. That's why earlier ancient days when the class used to start, they used to say, read this prayer, Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhuvatu.
Very nice.
One line Prabhupada says anybody can become Guru. That's all right.
And yeah, that reminds me of Prabhupada's letters. So ISKCON movement is to fulfill the, like we saw, desires of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Spread the holy name. So if we are in ISKCON, everybody is a preacher, like Prabhuji said. So sitting in ISKCON means you can go and preach. But don't think that we are Guru. We have to aspire to be, controlling our senses, but see what is our responsibility, the mission, carry it out as a seva. And like Prabhuji said, I am not qualified, right? But my Guru has asked me. So like if one is initiated, then his Guru gives him that instruction, go and preach. So, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chitete na Kuriya. Whatever Guru has told, I will do it. So, on my own, I don't have any capability. So, understanding of that fact, but carrying out the instructions of Guru. With that, we are going. We know we are not capable. And Krishna is the Supreme, He is the Absolute. And we are like nothing. So how can we glorify the Supreme? So we definitely need blessings, of the Guru Parampara to be able to speak, become a parrot, like Prabhuji was saying. We have to just repeat. But for that also we need blessings. So that comes from Guru. And to like again what Prabhuji was saying, that Srila Prabhupada has given. So if one is not yet initiated, then we might say, okay, I am not initiated yet, I will not preach. All the initiated devotees go and preach. No. Prabhupada is Jagat Guru. So in ISKCON, if you are there, then everybody can be a preacher. Can be. Okay. But that means what? That we have to, Prabhupada says that all that you have to do is read the books by Prabhupada, read the purports and memorize them, understand them, and then just go and repeat. You don't need to do anything else. Now all the Westerners, that's what they did. They were like, I mean, how can we preach? I don't know anything. You came and you taught us, and now you want us to go and preach? Don't worry, just repeat what I said. So that's all we need to do. So we have to have faith in Guru, Guru's instructions. So if Guru is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. Yasya prasada, Bhagavad prasada. So that's all. So we don't need to worry about my qualification and all that. We are on a journey. So we know our goal. We are endeavoring towards that, and we are trying to please Guru and Krishna. So what are the ways of preaching? So you say preaching is not just sitting on a Vyasasana and giving lectures, classes. There are various ways one can preach. So book distribution, prasadam, kirtan, those were the very first things that attracted everybody. I mean, I got attracted by that. Anybody here want to share how you all got attracted? Kirtan, prasadam?
Reflecting the learnings in our life. Acharan. Acharan, unless we reflect those learnings in our acharan day to day, others will be material. It will not have that much impact.
Yes, Prabhu. Preaching by example.
Yes.
That's the best form of preaching. We should not think that, okay, I will, study and read all the books and I'll become super literate and sit on Vyasasana and then I'll preach. I'm not that, okay. I just read before the lecture, come and sit here. I'm not at all qualified to sit here, but it's only by Guru's mercy, devotees, Vaishnava's mercy, I'm again repeating. But we might think like that, preaching, okay, I need to become great preacher means what? I need to sit, study and become eloquent speaker, know all the shlokas and everything, and then I'll preach and become famous. That is not only preaching. And if you see that is again with whom? With devotees. We have to preach outside also, so many people. So preaching by example is the most powerful method. All we need to do is just apply the teachings in our day-to-day life and become an inspiration for our immediate surrounding environment. Our neighbors, our community, in office, in school. We don't need to even talk. Just by our behavior, people will see and they'll get inspired. And then people will ask, how is it that you are behaving like this? Everybody observes the situations that one goes through. So that's one great way of preaching. So not just giving classes. Preaching is done now. So how should we do? What are the things that we should take care while preaching? So within ISKCON and outside. So again, devotees and external. Right? So we should, one is stay focused on the real goal. What does that mean? That we have to, what was the purpose of preaching? What is preaching? In the beginning, what did we discuss?
About self-realization.
Self-realization. To share love of God. To arouse the feelings of love in others. That is the main purpose. So we should stick to that. Not get deviated on other short-term goals. Like, what could it be? Huh? Namesake what? Success, name, fame. Oh, producer. Yes. So I'm doing it for myself. I've become such a great preacher. I've preached so many places, traveling, and how many devotees we have made, number of devotees, number of temples we have opened, book distribution. How many books have I distributed? These things bring. There is the tendency. Maya is always sitting there, right? And like, okay, I am a great book distributor. I distributed so many books. So we all would have one or the other time had this realization. No? The moment we think like that and go out for book distribution next day, we get our dose. So we have to be humble and always stay focused on the real goal. We have to just give the holy name. Book distribution also is just giving the book. Boiling the milk. Prabhupada used to say. We have to take care of the devotees. If we are just focused on bringing more and more devotees and not focus on the existing devotees, then what will happen? Like, new people will come, existing will go, will come, go. So maybe we'll just have the same number of people all the time. Count will be same, faces will change. Is that what we want? When we join ISKCON, we develop relationships, no? And when those faces start disappearing, we start losing the interest in the place. Why? Because it's the relationship that keeps us strong, keeps us together. So how is that relationship built? We need to care for each other, take care of each other's needs. Radhanath Swami Maharaj shares one example. Bhagavad Prabhu, he was like Prabhupada's, he had like so much of association with Srila Prabhupada that when he was asked, can you share, what inspired you the most from Srila Prabhupada? So it's like in Mayapur, when Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja was happening, then there's so many devotees, they all were glorifying Srila Prabhupada and offering him flowers and obeisances and everything is going on, loud kirtan. And then Bhagavad Prabhu comes and he is also going to like offer him obeisances. Prabhupada at that time asks him, Bhagavad Prabhu, what happened to your foot? You got a cut on your foot? What happened? So he was like, yes, Srila Prabhupada, I got a cut, just a small cut, no problem. So then he told him, go and take care of it immediately. Apply this medicine and take care of it. Adi Devika. So again we see miseries caused by nature, but when we are surrendered to the Lord, we are dancing, chanting, discussing the glories of the holy name. So so Bhagavad Prabhu then, so what did he say? That Prabhupada was being glorified by so many devotees, but still, what was his attention? For the devotee. It might sound materialistic, that he's just taking care of a bodily thing, but it's the care that he was doing. That was the most inspirational thing for Prabhu. So that's what, when we take care of the devotees, their needs, even at the bodily platform, then relationships are built strong. And obviously we have to watch out for our pride and respect. And like we discussed, we have to be compassionate and we have to respect other God conscious people also outside. It's not that only ISKCON is the right path. So anybody who is God conscious, they will eventually reach, everybody will eventually reach to Krishna. It's not that we have to bring everybody into ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada never forced anybody to come to ISKCON. In US, Christians, mostly they were Christians. So when he was preaching them, if somebody is already God conscious, he'll say you continue with your practice. If somebody is a Christian but not practicing anything, then you come to ISKCON. We have the practices. You can understand God. So we should have compassion but should not look down upon others. You don't know anything. I know so much. And we also think, some years back when I was not in ISKCON, I did not know anything. Now I know so much and I am somebody. You all are still. So we should not have pity in the sense that we rebuke and behave accordingly. So with example. And then when we do this, what are the benefits we get? Krishna is pleased. Right? So Krishna says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he who is preaching by message. So I'll stop here. Any questions, comments?
First of all, thank you for this wonderful.
Goes to Srila Prabhupada.
There is one, in the initial part, we saw that sloka. Sloka says a self-realized person can become a guru or should be a guru.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we see that in the Vachovegam vector instruction, Vachovegam, so the last line of the sloka is
Eligible to make shishyas all over the world.
Vachovegam, Manasa Chodavegam, Jiva Vegam, Udaro
Vasudevegam.
Prasavegam, Gita Vegam, Yogishari के धर्या पृथ्वी से शिष्य वो सारे विश्व में he makes a disciple. Now coming back to the question, where we say everybody who is in ISKCON is kind of a preacher by he can preach. So there are two questions that comes from here. One is, can we consider ourselves self-realized and preach? This is the first question. And second question is, whoever we are trying to preach, does he see us as a self-realized person? Who gives that certificate to me that I am a self-realized person? Is it me claiming myself as a self-realized person, or somebody able to realize that I am a self-realized person? Because somebody who doesn't value me, why will you listen to me?
So, yeah, if somebody doesn't value you, why would you listen to you? So that's where these points come in, that we need to preach by example first and take care of the other person. So first, preaching starts by not just giving philosophy straight away. We tend to think that okay, koi mila, pakad ke, whatever I've learned I start dumping. That's not going to work because the person is not in that state at that point in time. So what is the first interaction? It's about love and care and sukriti, so kirtan prasad. Give the holy name, let it do its work. So we don't need to prove ourselves to ourselves or to the other person. We are just an instrument, like we discussed. So we should not be in that consciousness that what will he I have to make him believe in me. Who are we? We don't even know anything, right? So we are just doing a service. That's one thing. And how do I know I am self-realized? We are our own judge. We know what self-realization means. Am I in control of all my senses? Have I experienced God? Have I seen Him? I know the answer to that. Again, I will not ask somebody to tell, do you think I'm self-realized? That's not a good way to measure ourselves, right? And in the scriptures, we also see that if one is having realizations, one should not glorify those. One should not talk about those. Should keep quiet. Because if we do that, we are, kind of going down the path. The example given is like a steam cooker or a steam locomotive. So if the steam is let go, then the pressure goes away, right? So the bhakti is like that. It's a steam within us. We should keep the pressure maintained. If we start glorifying ourselves, then we put a leak and the steam starts going away and we fizzle down. We fall down. And obviously, who is the best person to judge that? Guru. So Guru has that authority. He can see. Okay. I mean, when Guru, somebody asked, have you seen Krishna? To Guru, the question was asked. I will not name who and that. But he said, I have not seen Krishna, but my Guru has. I have faith on my Guru. And Guru is representative of Krishna. Does that help, Prabhu?
There is a condition like if we preach and like the potential devotees started chanting and everything, and after 6 months if they goes away and they don't want to, so in that condition what should we do?
So we should not be, like we were talking, right, attached to the results. Preaching again is a service, and we are Nimit Matra. Krishna has already plans for everybody. We have to do our best. Maybe the time has not come yet, but whatever we do is never gone waste. Naya vikarma nashvasti. So that will come in handy to that person at one point or another. But if we attach ourselves with the result, I preached to so many people, or these many went away, then we should not get attached, otherwise we will get discouraged, and then pride and all that will come. Just be focused on our duty, our endeavor to please Guru. I had to preach, I preached. Now Krishna, you take care. Is that helpful? श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।